In today's video, I get to ride a brand new aircraft. Royal Jordanian have a factory fresh Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner with all new business class that promises to revolutionise the airline's appeal. This is a little Middle Eastern airline I love and a lot of people forget about. I'll be flying about 5 hours from Amman to London, so let's go and check out this brand new aircraft. Enjoy the video. Today's video begins at Amman's Queen Alia Airport, where thanks to my business class ticket I'm able to enter the Crown Lounge before my flight. The lounge here has an unusual concept. It's entirely open to the terminal on a mezzanine floor, so you do still feel quite connected to the rest of the airport by the ambient noise coming from the terminal. It also happens to have a whole range of different areas which seem a bit thrown together, from an Arabic coffee and tea station by the entrance, to this strange-looking nail salon which appeared to be closed when I visited, not that I'm in the market for a manicure. There are also about half a dozen food and drinks areas scattered around the lounge, from a traditional breakfast buffet which has some approximations of Western breakfast, to a salad bar, to made-to-order Jordanian flatbreads, an omelette station, a full-service bar, this little kiosk which wasn't open, and a free coffee shop which actually does great coffee, but sadly I didn't get the personal touch like I did the last time I came through here.
Actually turns out it's the concierge for the lounge here. I've just come in and look at this. Isn't that the sweetest thing?
There's also a free ice cream machine, but it's breakfast time and I do have to show a little restraint sometimes.
Just a flying visit to the Royal Jordanian Lounge this morning. I'm really excited to get on board the 787-9. There is only one flying at the moment, and it's been going around the skies for about a month in service. And I've not seen any reviews on this brand new aircraft, so I've got no idea what I'm walking into. I actually flew into Amman yesterday with Emirates in business class. I got a free upgrade, and the story behind that's quite curious. It's for another day, but something really struck me when we landed here in Amman, and that's the rows upon rows of charcoal black aircraft. And it really got me thinking about how Royal Jordanian is more than just an airline.
Royal Jordanian today is a small but perfectly formed airline and a full member of the One World Alliance. It was founded in 1963 by the late King Hussein of Jordan. Today, the country of Jordan is best known for Petra and the iconic tourism opportunities available in the desert there, but Jordan is also a country with unique geopolitics, and aviation has long been at the heart of its international image. The first pope to fly in an aircraft was Paul VI, and Amman was his destination for pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Jordan's neighbours have been historically politically unstable, and land borders have been unreliable. Queen Alia Airport, named for Queen Alia, who died in a helicopter crash in 1977, solves those issues, and the national airline is a global advert for modern Jordan. The airline itself was actually launched under the name Alia, named after King Hussein's oldest daughter, not his second wife Alia we've just mentioned, and it carried this funky contemporary livery until 1986.
If you're like me, your browser usually looks like a digital junk drawer, and that's why I've switched to Opera, who are today's video sponsor.
Opera is more than just your average web browser. One of Opera's best features are tab islands. This is a feature that allows you to group your related tabs. For example, if I'm looking at Emirates flights, all the related tabs can be allocated a colour and a name to make it visible and clear on my desktop. Now this is really useful when I'm lining up a new trip. I've got my flight, hotel and car hire pages all open at once.
I often run with more than 30 tabs open, and Opera's got a solution for that too. Opera runs what it calls tab traces to show the ones you visited most recently, so you can click to the right one straight away. The darker the underscore, the more recently you visited the tab, and it's really simplified my browsing. When I'm really getting down to work, I use the split screen feature. You can now snap up to 4 tabs into one view, and this is perfect for comparing specs or keeping a reference document open while I'm writing, all in one window. And that gets me a whole lot of extra visibility on my laptop without having to use more than one screen. The real game changer here though is Opera AI. It's built into the browser, so it actually understands the context of the page you're currently browsing. I can ask it to summarize this massive article about the history of Royal Jordanian, or even analyze my calendar to find when I need to book my connecting flights from Amman to Dubai. There are no extra tabs or accounts required, and with this, Opera is freeing up a lot of my brain to concentrate on being creative and having fun, rather than dealing with the daily nitty-gritty. One of the best niche features I love is the pop-out video player, which I use for the strangest reason. When I'm booking a flight or a train, I like to see exactly which seats are in line with the windows. So I watch videos people have taken on board to check the seat alignment, and I use this information to pick the right seat. That's just a little insider trick there that Opera's helped with, and maybe you'll have your own unique use cases for that. You can use Opera for free right now. Just use my link in the description or in the pinned comment to try it out and reclaim your browser space today. And with that, let's get back to Amman and get on our 787-9 to London.
It's 2026 now, and Royal Jordanian are serving up a treat with this beautiful new Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. There are now 2 of these active, along with 4 more on order to complement 7 older and shorter 787-8 versions.
Okay, business class on the 787-9. Here we go, let's check it out. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. After.
Lovely, thank you.
The airline's older 787-8 aircraft feature a comfortable but outdated 222 business class, which lacks privacy. Teaser shots of the Dash 9 I'd seen suggested it would have a similar seat to Starlux's Airbus A350, a seat I really loved and which I've given a rave review of on the channel. And the hype is real. This is the new stunning business class Royal Jordanian have, and yes, it is the same seat as Starlux with a few minor adjustments. Most business class seats are actually able to be customized for the airline's needs. There are 32 business class seats, an increase of 8 seats over their older Dreamliners, and every single seat now has direct access to the aisle, something which is essential to remain competitive in 2026. And one immediate quirk I noticed is the seat labels are all wrong. I'm in 6K as per the screen, the overhead rack and the boarding pass, but K6 according to the seat signs. Oops. Real enthusiasts will note the 787 always has missing windows, and row 5 is the one to avoid if you want to see what's outside, that is. Royal Jordanian have kept the grey and beige seat colours from their 787-8, but have now complemented these with dark red and gold, which are the secondary colours on their external livery, which is a nice touch.
So welcome aboard the Royal Jordanian 787-9. This really is a fantastic product. This is actually the Collins Aerospace Elements seat for the geeks out there, and I've got to say, this seat feels like a Rolls Royce.
Waiting at my seat were a bottle of water, which is pretty standard for any wide-body business class experience, and passengers were soon served Arabic coffee. Now, I don't really like Arabic coffee, but it gets you in the mood, and it really doesn't feel right to refuse it if you want a genuine experience. Black and gold amenity kits are handed out too. I went for the gold one because, truth be told, I just give a lot of these to my wife, and this one looks lovely. We'll get a closer look at that a bit later. As we climb away from Amman, let's take a closer look at some of the interior choices on this Dreamliner. Royal Jordanian have chosen a curious half-overhead rack for the centre seats, which only extends a few rows. I've no idea why they've gone for this, because having no centre rack at all is usually fine and helps the cabin feel a bit more spacious. There are also individual air vents, hooray, and each seat features a step which is supposed to help cabin crew if they need to leap up and sort baggage problems in the racks. One notable difference from the Starlux seat is there is no storage behind your shoulder. Instead, there's a reading rack and a lamp. But that big cupboard on Starlux came at the cost of obscuring a whole window, so this is just an example of the sort of trade-offs airlines often have to make with their seat choices. Storage is therefore a bit modest, with a cubby just here containing a variety of USB-A and C outlets, the headphone jack and a universal socket. There is also a remote control, but not just for the TV, it controls the lights and the call bell too. Finally, there's a small hold for your water bottle, perfectly shaped for the water bottles handed out. Or maybe not. This seems like a big oversight. Hopefully on longer haul routes they give out bigger bottles. In all honesty, the seat is wonderfully made. I do prefer the Starlux version, but the quality of this Collins product is admirable. Everything feels incredibly solid, and the fold-out table is no exception. This can be moved back just about enough to allow you to exit the seat when it's deployed, which is a big bonus. The placement of the controls has also been really well considered, with them being moved away from the elbows, reducing the likelihood of you startling yourself by accidentally reclining the seat. This seat really is very thoughtful. The ottoman is necessarily far from the seat if you're in takeoff or fully upright position, but a deliberately inserted ridge means there's still something to rest your feet on. And finally, yes, these seats do have fully closing doors, although they were kept locked open on this flight, as I assume they're very new and still awaiting certification. This seat now sits in my personal top 10 and has made Royal Jordanian hugely more competitive.
One of my favourite times in any flight is when the menu comes out. And there's a good reason for that. It's not just because I like my food, it's because food is one of the ways that the airline can show its hospitality the best. And I've got to say, this particular menu had me really confused for a few minutes, but I've managed to rub both of my brain cells together and I think I've decoded it.
Royal Jordanian are famous for doing trolley service on these flights, and so I was surprised to see a full menu listing every choice of salad and appetizer. Previously on RJ I've just been presented with a selection of appetizers, so I did wonder for a moment if the airline had gone to a more conventional tray service with explicitly stated choices. I was really looking forward to the lamb mansaf, a delicious Jordanian dish I've had before in a restaurant in London. The rest of the options looked fine but didn't hugely excite me, and I'd say the same for the desserts too. Now I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea why every airline serves nuts before a meal in business class. This hardly happens anywhere else. Does anyone have the answer? Let me know in the comments. Served straight off the trolley and onto my plate, a hearty portion of guacamole shrimp and quinoa tabbouleh, which were both incredibly fresh. But up ahead, I detect a bit of bad news and an occupational hazard of choosing to sit so far back in the cabin. It turns out I'm not the only one who was looking forward to lamb mansaf, and they've run out. Instead, I've gone for the herb-crusted baked salmon, which I was pretty disappointed to have to choose. So much so, I forgot to take video of it before I started eating. Whoops. The main course was okay, nothing special but no cause for complaint either. But one thing I will mention, as is common for newly launched aircraft where crew are still getting used to the galley and service flow, the lunch service was really slow. We're over halfway through a 5-hour flight before dessert appears. I went for the tiramisu, which on planes can be a bit cakey. Next time I'll order an espresso as well and pour it over so it tastes a bit more authentic and soggy. I did round off the meal with a good serving of cognac. This is a Camus XO, which goes for about $200 a bottle, which is a wonderful drink to find on any airline. One huge upgrade I noticed from the last time I travelled with RJ, the 787-9 has Wi-Fi, and not only that, business class gets it for free all flight long. It's very good too, with the ability to stream 4K YouTube direct to your device with no buffering. The toilets on board are standard Boeing issue bathrooms you'll find on pretty much every Dreamliner, so there's not much to report on here. But there is some lovely Christian Lacroix moisturiser here. The baby table is small but at least practical, and I wouldn't like to change a writhing baby on a flat one like some airlines have installed. I do like this scoop version. It's time to test the bed, which lies flat of course, and note how the lights automatically turn off when I reach full flat. The bed is pretty good. It's a full 2 meters in length, and the bedding that Royal Jordanian provide is also excellent, although I wish they had a mattress topper for me to test, which I'm told they have on long-haul flights and is very good indeed. I wasn't expecting much from the entertainment system. Indeed, I'm more a browse the internet and read person than someone who watches a lot of stuff on aircraft, and Royal Jordanian's selection isn't huge. There was a film called Train Dreams though, which I selected because with that title I thought it would absolutely be entertainingly awful, but it ended up being superb. I really recommend it, by the way. It's a period drama which has a lot to say about American idealism through the medium of building railways in the US. Trust me, it's great, watch it, but maybe through some better headphones than this. The amenity kit I was given is also by Christian Lacroix and is beautiful. There are no real surprises inside, just the usual items, but I do rather love that little branded pen which I kept for myself. And so we're back in London, and what an interesting flight that was. I've always loved Royal Jordanian as an airline. They're a full alliance member but still feel kind of family owned and small enough to care. However, their uncompetitive product always made me balk at paying good money to fly them on long haul. They offer great connectivity to the Far East, for example, from London, and to the USA from India and the Middle East. Now, if I can get on a 787-9, I'll definitely consider them more. This has been a soft launch for Royal Jordanian, partly because they only have 2 aircraft so far, and partly because the conflict in nearby Iran has probably affected passenger numbers. In the near future, they'll also fly to Montreal, Washington, and New York JFK, and several regional destinations in the Middle East with the 787-9. I'm always interested to hear your experiences with Royal Jordanian, and do let me know in the comments, especially if you're one of the few people to have flown on this brand new aircraft. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.